I'm doing pop culture, entertainment, Deaf vs. Heard, things like that, and you're looking at Eve Barlov's Twitter account. Now, if you know who Eve is, you know she got kicked out of the Virginia courtroom, and you know that she was, or is, that's what we'll talk about, close to Amber Heard. A few things about a brief history. Not too long ago, sometime in October or September, there was news that got around everywhere, including on this channel, that Eve and Amber had some kind of a fallout. Well, my news was more speculation than fact, but some people thought they had it down. And one of the reasons was Eve stopped tweeting about Amber, and there was some little out of context clip that got around from one of her articles. But mostly, people speculated that Eve stopped seeing Amber or being close because Eve stopped tweeting about her. But just this morning, I saw some tweets about Amber from Eve. So I think we could rule that out definitively that Twitter or Instagram or what she says means anything about their real life relationship. The only thing we know for sure is that Eve is putting things out in public about Amber on social media. We can't know motives totally. I'm sure part of Eve maybe has feelings, but the other part is in it for the political aspect and proving a point. So even if they broke up, and even if Eve really wanted nothing to do and her feelings were destroyed, Eve still might, for the message, to prove her point, not to give up the argument, once in a while, tweet about Amber. The other thing is Amber was seen not too long ago in Spain with this person, Bianca Buddy. So people said, well, now Amber's in Spain without Eve, that must be it, it's over. Which is a fair point too. But anyway, let's see what Eve tweets now. Here's the first one I want to go over from Vanity Fair, who's a big supporter of Amber, and it says, the grounds for Amber Heard's new appeal cites a lack of clear and convincing evidence for actual malice, among others. Amber Heard sets her 16-point grounds for appeal. She's always got all these points, 12 points for abuse, 16 points for grounds of appeal. But you know what? Usually ends up being like 0 points of anything. Let me say this. Amber's intentions aren't so important in the grand scheme. I mean, she defamed Johnny. He lost franchise roles. It happened. Why she did it is something that should be explored and known, but the bottom line is she did it. Maybe for her insurance company reasons or something like that, the intentions matter, but to Johnny and to the people who lost him in the form he was in as Jack Sparrow and someone well respected across the board, I don't think her motives matter. The fact is that it happened and nothing can take that back. Anyway, I digress on that for now. I'll get into this article sometime a little later on in the week. Let's keep going. And then she tweets this out from British Glamour, who I've never read before. It says, there's been a disturbing undercurrent of misogynistic rhetoric as Angelina Jolie is dubbed another Amber Heard. So the thing is, Eve and some of her followers are very upset that people like Angelina Jolie and Evan Rachel Wood and even Ezra Miller maybe are being called an Amber Heard. Well, that's what happens. When you defame someone, when you abuse someone, then you'll be compared to. The Virginia trial got billions of views, and before that, the case was getting multi-millions of views. So of course people are going to compare similar situations to you-know-who. Let's just say Miss Mera or Amanda, whichever you prefer. And I gotta say this, as someone who's heavily covered Amber and Evan Rachel Wood for quite a while, I'm not taking sides yet with Brad. I'm saying, well, we gotta see the evidence. We're sick of the pattern of no evidence. You've got to prove it. Now, someone on Twitter said to me, well, you know what? Most cases of abuse don't have proof. So that's that. And I get that. But this isn't most cases. These are the exceptional, highly publicized cases with people's reputation and millions of dollars on the line. So it's just not a regular case. And in this case, when there's so much on the line, you gotta have evidence to prove a side. Now, if we're going to take the average Joe off the street and think about the probability of having evidence and things like that, I totally understand. I'm on your side. It's not easy to get evidence, not impossible. There's a discussion there to be had, but the point is, these are the cases that need the evidence. Angelina Jolie, Evan Rachel Wood, and Amber Heard are not just a waitress or a cash register at Starbucks or a school teacher who can't afford to have support or lawyers or things like that, or can't afford to get evidence in their busy life because they don't have the means. These are huge stars making allegations that need to have evidence. I can't make that point more clear. If it's going to be worldwide news, then we can't just go for he said, she said, who do you think did it? And then this one. Eve got, I guess, pretty irritated at this. Whenever I am trending or on the receiving end of a large-scale public attack, Amber says to me, if you're not pissing people off, what are you doing with your life? It's a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor that, breaking, Amber Heard ranks as the most hated woman in the United States. Badge of honor. Most hated woman in the United States by some kind of Q scale that they use to gauge stars and celebs and things like that. I kind of get it. No promotion's bad promotion and all that, blah, blah, blah. But when you look at the context of this, it's just not a good thing that's being said. People don't get to be just the most hated person, like making jokes, having a podcast people disagree with. Some people hate Howard Stern and Joe Rogan and these personalities for their opinion. You could maybe brag about that. Maybe Simon Cowell some people hate. I don't know. You could brag, haha, look at my personality on TV and my attitude. People hate me. I did it. Or like Piers Morgan or something like that. But these people didn't actually do something wrong and illegal. If you actually do something wrong and illegal, it's nothing to be proud of. If it was just your bad acting and your personality, but you were a lawful citizen, okay, where does a badge of honor? You still did something, you got out there. But if you abuse someone and you defame someone, and you committed perjury, well, that's not a badge of honor. That's something you should say you're sorry for. And by the way, Eve has the monetization up there, and Eve criticizes people who monetize the case. Just a bit hypocritical in a very factual type of way. Let me know what you think down below. Doing shout outs, special thanks, things like that. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't consider it, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. Done here for now. See you next time.